Alrighty, so I'm sitting with my beautiful, amazing wife, Shani. So, how's Shani?
Hi, everybody.
And today we are going to be focusing on why working together as a couple in network marketing is so much fun and maybe even frustrating sometimes. So, so Shani, maybe tell me a little bit about like the journey so far for you and like what are some of the lessons that you've learned, like the foundational lessons that ensure that you are successful or that we are successful as a couple, and like maybe some of the things that you've learned along the way, and how you've learned to manage me and manage the business and the team, but maybe just in terms of us as a couple, like what are, like, maybe start at the beginning. What happened? Like, how did we end up here? How did we end up in a business together? What was our journey about?
So, for me, I always wanted to work with you. It's like a vision for me was always to work with my hubby, whatever dreams and goals you have, I want to come alongside you and I want to support that vision and I want to see it take us forward as a family and, grow our income and our wealth from that perspective. I think it's vitally important that as a couple, you need to be on the same page when it comes to your future and your finances. And yes, for some people, they can separate and they can go into separate careers and you can build your patterns and that from there, but that's not for me. As much as I am really probably a workaholic, I like to do things that matches a powerful vision, and I like to work with like-minded people. And so it's vitally important for me that we are like-minded and we headed in the same direction.
Yeah, there's no division. It's vision.
Mm.
It's all about one vision. Like, we have a dream. We want to travel overseas. We want to out earn ourselves every month. I think out earning ourselves is one of the most exciting things for me. Having a competition with yourself where you're out earning yourself every month. Are you out earning yourself every month? That's a question I want to ask you couples. If you're not out earning yourself at the moment, why not? Is what you're busy with at the moment keeping you in a place where you are continuously stuck? Or are you prepared to do things outside of the ordinary, outside of the norms of society, to actually take yourself to a situation? And Shani, I mean, when I first came home with the business, what was your reaction?
Well, I wasn't happy because we'd already been on this journey, not this particular journey, we'd been on a journey that I thought was possibly similar and we'd failed. So when I saw you pick this business up, it was like, it made no sense because we've done similar things, it failed. To me, it was like we weren't able to work together, it didn't work, we didn't make any money, we lost everything. So now separate and go and do what's required to do to put food on the table and to make sure that the family is taken care of. And so to pull all of that back and go back into no, we're on the same page again, we're heading for the same end result was, something that really smacked me hard. And I had to go through a lot of personal development to actually go, we've always been on the same page. This is actually where I want to be. And I can give into that heart's desire because it is possible to do it. And there is an avenue. The other avenues that I'd used had failed. This is a different avenue. And I had to let go of all of my personal restrictions, my own personal limiting beliefs, and go, okay, I'm not just going to expect you to do this. I have to also come alongside. And then you've got to give 150% from both of you.
And what was so different about this versus other things that you've done? What was like the thing that stood out for you? I know the one is that we actually got paid.
Yeah,
We actually earned money.
There are a number of things that I can sort of put my finger on. The leadership team in this particular business made such a difference for me. Although we'd been surrounded by people that were strong in the other businesses, they weren't really strong at leading you and me. and understanding and helping us unpack those limiting beliefs again and watching us fail and be able to come alongside us and give us that straightforward feedback. And I think that made all the difference for me, is being able to watch strong leaders that also were just consistent and persistent, and they share exactly the same values that we share. Um, and so that made it a lot easier to hook into, and it made me not want to pull away from it. It made me want to hammer out this thing until I found a success through it.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, there's a guarantee of success if you work, but the only guarantee that our business gives us is if you do nothing, then you're going to earn nothing. It's as simple as that. But there is a guarantee if you work and if you're consistent and if you don't give up, if you just keep on pushing every day, and you know that there's a real system that works. So let's speak maybe just around that for a few seconds. Chani, what was the attractive factor for you in terms of the system?
Well, this is the thing. You and I always had the vision. We always had the passion, but we didn't have a vehicle. The vehicles we used were just unreliable. Literally, our cars were unreliable and our businesses were unreliable. And when we tapped into this business, has got a system that is reliable. It's proven. It's been in operation now for over 10 years and it's working, but it's based off an even more powerful system that is over 100 years old because of the financial service industry that it backs. And that made it something much more powerful. So, I made the decision. I was done with fly-by-night things. I was done with things that would wave at me and be gone tomorrow. I wanted something that was sustainable. This has got the sustainable model, and then I had to develop the skill set, and you had to develop the skill set so we could actually learn to use this system, because there aren't a lot of solid systems out there. And so guaranteed, if you haven't been part of a really solid system that works and pays every month, then you don't know how to use this one. And there's a whole whack of training, life skills, grooming that you've got to go through to be able to make the system work and pay you the way that it can.
Yeah. I mean, it literally millions. There's millions that is accessible if you prepare to put in the time, the energy, and the effort, and treat it like a career. You said something just now, and one of my favorite quotes is, you do not rise and fall based on the goals that you have. You rise and fall based on the systems that you engage with. And that is true. That is so true. So many people have they work with the job system or the employment system. And the employment system is a very restrictive system. I'm not saying that having a job is a bad thing at all. What I'm saying is that if you do not have a system that is helping you achieve the real big, hairy, audacious goals that you have for your life, then the system that you're working with is not it's not going to take you where you want to go at all. It's going to keep you stuck in a place where all that you'll ever have is a job. And then, Chani, maybe finally tell me, if you could give advice to people, and you could ask, or you could give them advice, maybe ask them one or two questions that could really change their situation. What would those questions be? Like, do you have any questions that you could maybe ask people? Ask the couples out there what their questions are, or what their challenges are, what their frustrations are. Like, what are those questions that you'd maybe ask people that could help guide them towards maybe having a conversation with you and I?
So, as an individual or as a couple, if you are sitting where you are in your circumstances in life, and the first thing that I'd have to ask you is, what is the vision that you've cast for your life? Where are you headed? Where do you want to see yourself? What do you want written on your gravestone one day? What do you want to leave behind for your kids? What do you want to set in place for your grandkids and your great-grandkids? Have you thought that far ahead, or are you really just living hand to mouth? And so that's sort of where it starts. Once you can answer that question for me, then I can, unpack it further and say, what is frustrating you about where you currently are today? We want to look at where you want to go, and we need to bring it back and we need to say, okay, now, where are you? So what is frustrating you right now about your current financial situation? And when you can unpack that honestly for yourself, and then you can see the gap, then with this system and this business, Nick and I can show you how to move from where you are today to where you want to go.
I mean, that's so powerful, asking. Maybe in the comments, maybe you can pop your answer, like what's frustrating you about your current financial situation. That's actually, it's always an interesting discussion, and you'll find that so many people are experiencing the same sort of things. It's debt, it's school fees, it's just paying for bills, the cost of living, petrol, every single thing about the economy at the moment is working against us. So a lot of people are moving to that place of frustration. And frustration is simply passion with no outlet. Not having that system to be able to get you out of that situation is the main reason that you're sitting where you're sitting from a frustration perspective. Okay, and then...
So then if I had to ask you, Nikki, I mean, what first attracted you to the business? Considering we've done so many other things, why? When the person that introduced you pulled you aside and said, come to this meeting, think about that conversation. What did he say to you? What questions did he ask you that made you want to look at this?
It's all about trust. And I think that is very important. It's about trust. And the person that invited me, I trusted this person a lot. It was a good friend of mine, really well-established businessman, and I trusted him. And he said to me, Nick, what are you doing tonight? And I said, nothing. It was a Wednesday night. And I said, I don't have anything on. He said, hey, I've got something there's a meeting I'd like to take you to, just about focusing on developing an income for ourselves. And I said, sure, let's go. Phoned Chani, I let her know. Went to the meeting, half an hour in. I said, I'm in. And that was it. I loved the energy. I loved the environment that I walked into. It was very professional. It looked amazing. The people were friendly. I could see that there was a culture of leadership within the place. And and when I walked out of there, I knew that I'd found my new home, And I think that was the thing, that it was trusting a leader, trusting somebody that I believed in, that I knew had integrity, that I knew had discipline in their life, that was moving towards a place where they really wanted to go. And for me, that was important. So especially in the world that we live in today, because there's so many people out there that want to take you for a ride, unfortunately. And I'm sure everybody out there agrees, like being taken for a ride, losing money, being scammed, or whatever the case may be. It's heartbreaking, especially when you're putting your time, your energy, your money, your life into this thing, and then suddenly you get hurt. And the thing that I love the most about our business is that what they promise, they deliver. That is definitely one of the payoff lines. It's like they are people of integrity, and they've got so much passion for South Africans, and they've got a heart for South Africa. They want to change the economy of South Africa, the personal economy of the households of the people that engage with our team. And I think that's very exciting for me.
And then I remember, obviously I wasn't impressed when you got home, and I knew that you were jumping towards another business or another opportunity, something I thought was detracting from where I wanted to be. But you made the decision, you were doing it anyway. So you overcame that boundary of even knowing that you were going to have to wrestle me, even knowing that I might be upset with you. You still decided to join the team. So how easy or difficult was that for you?
Well, obviously there was an element of anxiety because I wasn't sure what the results were going to look like. I didn't know. It's like you. Like if you haven't been part of our team before, then you'll know. Getting into something is not easy. Getting into something it's not an easy thing to do. And if you don't initially have the support of those around you, it can be quite daunting. And I drove around to my friends, my family, because I wanted to make this work. I wanted to make sure that Chani saw a result. And I knew that there could be a result because there's very low entry into our business in terms of the financial side of things. It doesn't really cost you a lot of money. It's not one of those risk-oriented things where you're investing or hoping or forex or trading or something like that. It's not linked to that at all. So for me, I thought the only risk that I have is time. The only risk that I have is time and maybe a little bit of a fight with you here and there, but there weren't really that many fights. You did support me initially when you saw that I was trying hard, and you put your sales brain behind what it was that I was doing, and you helped me. And I think that was the thing that really got me over that line. Got me over that line to make sure that the support that I had from you was definitely something that helped a lot. And then the encouragement from my leadership team, while my leader is now in the United States. So he's still part of the business, but not really actively involved. So when he left, it became a bit more difficult because I didn't have anybody to lean on. But at the same time, I realized that if I was going to do something about my situation, that I needed to do something about my situation. So maybe you're sitting there going, flip, well, I don't know you from a bar of soap, Nick, or you, Chani, from a bar of soap. Well, then get to know us. Get to know us. Like you're more than welcome to connect with us, and we'll share our information right at the end, so that you can get a hold of us and you can have a chat with us. Anything else, Chani? Maybe the last thing is, so what are your dreams? What do you want? What do you want, like personally? Like, what are your dreams?
So I definitely want to travel. I want to be not just traveling internationally. I want to be able to go like anywhere I want, anytime, with unlimited amounts of money. And I'm very, very passionate about working with other people. So I like to help other people. I don't want to go and have to like scrimp on a holiday or ask somebody else to pay for stuff. I want to be able to go and just swipe my card. Wherever we go, I want to be able to take people out to dinner. I want to be able to go shopping.
It's all on me.
Yeah.
It's all on me. It's on me.
And not even think about budgets.
Yeah.
Like not have a budget. That's where I want to be. And that's the kind of wealth that I want to leave behind for my kids.
Yeah, I think that's the nice thing about this. You were speaking about that earlier on, and you spoke about the fact that so many people don't understand what it means to leave a legacy because they don't think about it. What most people will leave behind is a body on the floor. Then most people have got that their family has got to find money for a funeral for, which is quite a sobering thought if you think about that. Like if something had happened to you and you had to pass away right now, God forbid, but you had to pass away right now, what would you leave behind? A body on the floor that everybody else would have to find money for a funeral for, a cupboard full of clothes and a garage full of tools, maybe. So if you want to change that and you really want to leave a legacy and earn good money every single month, then we're available. Chani, how can people get hold of us?
Well, you can comment in the comments and you can reach out to us. So we connect with everybody on WhatsApp, the green app, and that's where we will share most of the business info. So reach out to us either in the comments and we'll connect with you, or are we going to share our number?
Yeah, we can. We can share our number, 061 419 9868. That's my number, 061 419 9868. Get hold of me and we can have a chat. You can just WhatsApp me or you can call me, and we'd be quite happy to connect you to our incredible, amazing business. Regulated, real, relevant in South Africa for over the last 10 years. We've been part of the team for 8 years, and we're looking forward to connecting with you. God bless you. Keep smiling, and thanks so much for tuning in today.
Cheers.
Cheers.